Welcome to Cyprus.
On this road trip across the south coast of Cyprus, I'm exploring Cyprus's most amazing destinations. I've done the research and chosen these must-do activities that will help you plan the perfect trip. Right, it's time to share with you the most fantastic things to do on this beautiful island. The awesome power of nature is everywhere in Cyprus, and my first fantastic thing to do illustrates that perfectly. Avakas Gorge. Be sure to bring some comfortable shoes. There's a short but lovely hike on the way to the gorge.
Okay, so this is the Avakas Gorge trail that we're going to follow. It's very hot, it's very dry, we're dosed up in sun cream, got tons of water in the bag, and we've got about a 2 to 3 kilometre trek to go and find the gorge. So yeah, let's get walking.
Like I said, it's a popular tourist destination, so you can expect to see some tour groups on your walk. The tourist presence doesn't ruin the appeal. A lot has been done to protect the area. It's prohibited to pick any plants here, and animals roam freely. You're completely surrounded by natural beauty. The walk to the gorge sort of serves as a double purpose. The blue sky, the lush green foliage, it sets you up for the shock of finally turning that corner and seeing the walls of the gorge. The gorge is 3 kilometres long and the walls reach up to 30 metres high. These sheer rock walls are so tall that you're completely protected from the sun, and the cool breeze blowing through the gorge is so nice after a warm and sticky hike. The river is low and calm underfoot, but during the winter months the river levels rise and the small stream becomes a torrent. Beware that some of the mountain roads to get here can be quite tight and get busier as the day goes on. Something to note if you're a nervous driver. Right next to wonderful thing to do number 3 is a fantastic restaurant called ONIRO by the sea. Amazing food, refreshing cocktails, sea views. ONIRO has everything, and I can't recommend enough that you make it a stop on your trip. And it's just a stone's throw away from our next destination. In fact, you can probably see it from your table. It's just a 5-minute walk from the restaurant at most. The shipwreck of the Edro 3.
So the shipwreck behind me is quite a sight, and it's been here for just under 10 years now. So apparently back in 2011 it embarked for Rhodes, one of the Greek islands, but it never made it because it hit a freak storm and ended up getting caught up on the rocks here just off the coastline. So apparently people sort of fled there, they made it safe, they took out the fuel as soon as they could so that the oceans weren't polluted. And now it makes for a rather nice photo opportunity, as you can see down there.
I couldn't help myself. I had to get closer to the ship. The rocks are very rough in places, but I'm so glad I did. Getting just that little bit closer to the shipwreck was so awe-inspiring. The clear water and crashing waves were hypnotising. If you want even more bang for your buck, just 200 metres from the wreck are sea caves carved into the cliffs. A great opportunity to walk down the lunch, take some gorgeous holiday pictures, and get one last look at the shipwreck before heading to your next destination. Coral Bay Beach is widely regarded as one of the best beaches on the island. That's right, it only took me 3 things to do until I wanted to hit the beach. And it's the most visited beach on Cyprus's west coast. It's easy to see why. It's got fine white sand, calm clear water, everything you'd want from a day in the sun. If you're put off by seeing so many people here, don't worry, I found an easy solution.
So yes, Coral Bay is a fairly obvious beach to come to. You've got your parasols, your water sports, your deck chairs, but if you head down to the far end of the beach, then it's a lot more quiet, it's quite rugged, and you've still got a whole bay of glorious water to go swim in, which is exactly what I'm going to go and do now because I need to cool off.
The water was calm and still and didn't get deep too quickly. Perfect for a swim. After a morning of carrying camera gear through the mountains, Jake was glad to have a chance to cool off too.
Oh, that water was so refreshing, so gorgeous. And obviously you can't go to the beach without getting an ice cream. Yes, it's a popular beach, but it's very family friendly. There's cafes, sun lounges, lifeguards. So yeah, don't get put off because it is on the tourist sort of thing to do here, because it's still a really good beach.
Mountains, shipwrecks, ice cream. It had been quite a day already, and as the late afternoon approached, there was still even more I wanted to see. Hopping back into the hire car, we headed into PAPHOS. The beauty of having a hire car means being able to see it all, from remote gorges to the busiest towns. But as we were walking through PAPHOS, it wasn't as busy as I'd expected. Maybe I visited at the perfect time of day, but as the sun got lower in the sky, PAPHOS was cool, calm, and there was little tourist presence on the streets. The streets were lined with greenery, tall statues, monoliths, and water features. But there was a specific reason I'd headed to this part of town. A spectacular lookout over the rest of PAPHOS. I could have stayed there until the night rolled in, and it's probably a fantastic place to see the sunset, but I'd already planned where I wanted to be when the sun went down. Just a short journey through the centre of PAPHOS takes you to PAPHOS Harbour, and it was clearly a popular place to spend the end of the day. It makes sense. Not only does the southwest coastline have a fantastic view of the setting sun, the area is full of restaurants that make the most of the location. I can't recommend spending a sunset at the harbour enough. Sitting on the rocks and looking out onto the open ocean was one of the highlights of the trip. I was only there for a few minutes, but you could literally watch the colour of the sky grow richer and warmer. A picture perfect moment. It was an ideal way to end our first day. I needed a breakfast that would be quick, delicious and portable. To me, that meant visiting a local bakery. Bakeries here are fantastic. I can guarantee they'll be some of the best pastries you've ever eaten. And they're absolutely huge. What a treat. The perfect portable breakfast for our road trip. We even grabbed a couple of extra snacks for later. Being stuffed with chocolate pastry made the drive up to the Troodos Mountains all the sweeter. The drive into the countryside was stunning, and the mountains are full of natural treasures, if you know where to look.
So we've just parked up and we're on a mission to go and find the Caledonian Falls. So these waterfalls up in the mountains in the forest, and as you can see we're already on a bit of an incline, which means the only way is up.
It's quite a walk to Caledonia Waterfalls. Unlike the route to Avakas Gorge, there's light shade protecting most of the hike, and at the start of the trail there's even a fountain to refill your drinking water.
Fresh.
The beginning of the route is paved and easy to follow, but I'd still recommend wearing comfortable hiking shoes. The route gets rockier and more difficult as it brings you closer to the water. The climb up might have taken a while, but once I arrived at the waterfall, every step was worth it. Of course, this stunning natural beauty makes it to be a popular tourist destination. If you arrive here at the same time as a tour group, you can expect it to feel pretty busy. But thanks to the tight tour schedules, these groups aren't around for long. Meaning if you're patient, you'll have your time alone with the falls. The smell of the lush plant life, the feel of the spray, it was breathtaking.
The waterfall was beautiful. It's quite a hike up here, but it's well worth it. The water is freezing, but it's pretty cool too to just sit and look at it from a rock. So yeah, definitely worth the hike. We're going to now make our way back down the mountain, find the car and go on our next adventure.
I can't overstate how much I enjoy driving around Cyprus. Don't forget to pull over and smell the roses if you find a great view. If you love the idea of hitting the road and seeing what the world has to offer, even if it's not in Cyprus, be sure to check out the video I put together on planning the perfect road trip. The beautiful drive down out of the mountains to the south coast gave way to sea views and rolling hills. At the top of one of the hills, looking out to sea, you'll find the ancient KOURION archaeological site.
So for a bit of history, we found this archaeological site overlooking the ocean. And I think this is one of the beautiful things about Cyprus, is that we were just up in the mountains, we've driven an hour and we're by the sea now. But what we're here for is to take a look at the amphitheatre they've got here. It's meant to be beautiful.
This archaeological site features the remains of a range of prominent buildings. The most vulnerable are protected with roofing, but still available to see. Destroyed by a severe earthquake in 365 AD, KOURION was one of Cyprus's most important city kingdoms. The centrepiece of the site is the magnificent amphitheatre.
And it's still pretty windy up here, but it's absolutely epic. I mean, the views are incredible and you can really get a feeling of what it was like back, I think this was made the 2nd century BC. Such a long time ago. But what's awesome is that they still do music concerts and Shakespeare plays here. So if you are in the area at the time, then have a little look on the internet and see if there's anything going on, because to watch something here would be absolutely incredible.
For a modest entrance fee of around €4.50, the KOURION archaeological site is an absolute steal.
So we haven't had enough time to see everything. It's quite big, this site, and if you really want to do it justice, then give yourself at least 2 hours.
It's awe-inspiring for everyone, but will be especially appealing to those with an admiration for ancient Greek and Roman history. Heading to the coastal towns for the evening is always a great idea. Restaurants, attractions, bars, and LANARCA is a great example. You can take a wander between the boats, along the marina, or a soothing walk along the seafront on the white sandy beach. Although lively, it's also a perfect place to chill out at the end of a busy day. When you visit Cyprus, you have to get MEZZE at least once. Made up of lots of small dishes designed to share, it's a great way to try lots of different authentic food. Be brave, you can always get a side of fries if you're worried about what you're going to like. You can learn more about what you'll eat in Cyprus in my Cyprus food video. Our flights home were in the afternoon, which meant that we had the morning to relax and unwind. And how better to relax on such a gorgeous island than to head back to the coast. NAPA might have a reputation as a party town, but that's far from all it has to offer. Gorgeous white sandy beaches, cool clear water, and a wealth of activities, restaurants and bars. You'll want for nothing here, and if we didn't have a flight to catch, we'd happily have soaked up the sun here all day.
Road tripping across the southern coast of Cyprus has been amazing. I mean, we've literally seen it all, from the coast to the mountains to historical sites to nature at its best. It's been insane, and the fact that we've been able to do that in such a short time, I think, is what makes Cyprus so unique. You can be in the mountains and then down to the beach in an hour, which is quite rare, and I think what makes this place so beautiful. So if you do come here, then do try and see it all. It's possible here, and I promise you, you'll have an amazing time.